Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andrew Davis, and you are watching Conversations in Pop Culture. And yes, I am scandalous like an Ashley. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Pocket Jack Comics. And they have a bunch of comic books coming to local comic shops in March of 2024. So if you want to read some fun, sexy women in comics, Guinevere and the Divine Factory and Palace of the Golden Princess, go to pocketjackcomics.com as well as look for them out in March. And you can sign up for Preston's email list to get a free copy in PDF format. But enough about that, because I have with me, and I'm probably going to get her name wrong, Cherry Devivre, I want to say, or I'm
Yeah,
going to get.
you got it right. Wonderful. Yes, you got it.
And so obviously, I mean, you've done a lot of stuff. I think you've done some stuff in the adult industry. You've done stuff in camming. Obviously, you
Right.
have a very interesting contract that we're going to talk about. But before we get too much into all that, why don't you kind of tell everybody who you are? Because there's people who I think know you, and then there's people who don't know you, and then there's people saying, "Who is this beautiful woman on my show?" So
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, I'm rocking natural look today, so my apologies. Usually people know me with, lots of heavy makeup and less clothing than now, but you know what?
I don't mind. You look fine to me. This is how I
Yeah.
want
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought it would be more kind of appropriate to be a little bit more kind of appealing to the masses, just how I am in natural life, in regular life, sorry. So yeah, well, my name is Cherry Devivre. I'm a cam girl who recently started filming in adult industry. I also have my OnlyFans account that I'm growing. I do collabs with some of the known actors in the industry as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's if we're being super short on who I am and what I do. So yes, Andrew, please do ask questions. What people would
Yeah.
like to.
So I actually want to talk a little bit about your background, because the thing that interests me the most is actually not the adult stuff, but you have a degree in economics.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
Thank
so this is what interests me, is that, I mean, I don't know why you're laughing. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that's true, right?
It's absolute 100%. I can show you my diploma. I mean, it's just that people never, ever, ever talk to me about it, and I feel like a very small amount of people would actually find that fascinating. But hey, it's
So
true. Yes, I've graduated in um, economy. My major was actually banking. I was always dreaming of working in corporate world, specifically in banks, which I have when I graduated. I've started working in a bank, then I switched to another. So up until 2008, I want to say, almost end of 2008. Yeah, so definitely was a part
because
of my.
the reason why I bring this up is that I think there's a negative stigma when people go into the adult industry or camming or content creation or modeling, that they don't have a college degree, they don't go to college, they're not educated. And I think, I don't know if it's a male thing, I don't know if it's an industry stigma, I don't know exactly, but there's plenty of women that I've met who are in this industry who are really incredibly smart, and they just made a decision to go into this, I guess, industry as a whole,
Right.
because it's an opportunity, there's money there, there's brand building there. And so I think that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I think it's very interesting where there is, I guess, oh, you're doing X, that means that you didn't have a choice, or you were coerced into it, or you're not educated. And I think that's a real problem. That's why I think your economic degree is interesting. When I was reading your profile and doing some research, I'm like, oh, this is somebody, and this is breaking a stigma.
Well, and I mean, you're right. There are a lot of young girls who never really had a chance to get to college. Some even, struggling to graduate from high school, whatever could be the situation, right? And unfortunately, unfortunately, it is true, and there are a lot of girls like that, right? I guess I was a fortunate person, and I got into adult industry by complete, um, should I say, not a coincidence, was a just I didn't even plan it. Never. It was never in my mind. I mean, I grew up in a family. My mom was a professor, right? We are so far from that part of the world, right? And never like it was never kind of on the topic in the family to talk about that ever, right? So I graduated high school and then 5 years of university. Um, and like I said, I was a part of the corporate world for about since 2002 up to 8, so 6 years, right? So I started my career and I was growing until the crisis hit in 2008. I don't know if you if you know far back, right? Then I immigrated to Canada in 2009, right? So a lot of things happened, and I wouldn't say the immigration part and being a newly immigrant in another country made me do it. I still pushed into the corporate world. I still tried, although my diploma here doesn't really mean anything. I would have to go through another college degree or whatever, right? Um, but I still tried. I gathered some connections, and I worked in yeah,
Let's actually talk about this a little bit because obviously you come into the world of camming, modeling, because I
right.
don't think you just dropped into camming immediately. I think you were also doing some modeling. And so what was that like to make that shift too? Because going from banking, I mean, dealing with high finance and lending money, and I don't know if you're doing investment banking or doing regular banking or house banking or whatever it is, or small business loans, but
It was
going
international banking. It was basically in the main office, right? So I never was like a teller or whatever. Like I never worked with a client face to face. It's international banking. It's working with international banks for basically letters of credits and bank guarantees for um, import and export goods. So it was interesting for a very very young girl that I was back then. It was wow, it was mind blowing, and I loved it. But yes, it was definitely a big shift when it came up in a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was a male model working back then for a platform where I started. It's Flirts for Free, which are still dear to me. They're still considered to be my family, and they still consider me as their family. Although I don't really cam there much, but still, I do whenever I can. So I started that back in 2013, and when he introduced me this job, I was shocked. Okay, so we're talking about a girl who never even actually watched porn much. Okay, I was I was so far from that world. I can't even tell you. It was just never in my plans to even get close, so and somehow we have this conversation, and he's starting from very far saying that, oh, you would just have to have a conversation with a customer and go through his maybe problems. And I found that very funny. I said, listen, like this is very very kind of weird. Like, show me exactly what is this. He sent me the website, right? He sent me the link to the Flirt for Free, and oh my god. Oh my God. So I opened it up and I see like half naked women stripping out, oh, sorry, stripping down when people like, sending them coins or credits, whatever, in the chat room. So I'm like, what? I started freaking out. I started freaking out. I closed down my laptop. I said, never, never even. I'm like, I don't even talk to you anymore. Like, never am I going to do this. A month later, I logged in for the first time. So that was funny.
So let's actually talk about this because what year was this?
That was end of 2013, sorry. Just a little bit of coffee.
So I am familiar with this industry, and I came in more 2016-ish,
Hmm.
maybe 2014
Right.
exactly, but I wasn't like fully committed. And I understand all the platforms a lot more, talking to a lot of different people, understanding, looking at it from there's four different ways I look at this. So obviously I'm into pop culture and I'm into
Right.
comics, and I look at what Clips for Sale's done in many vids and StreamAid has done. And I'm like, cool. How could that be implemented for other systems? Because to me, it is a system. And obviously the product is very different. And so I'm very curious on just how good operating systems work. But what was that like? Because 2013 was very different from my understanding than 2023. And so what was that like? Because the internet wasn't new, but this sector I felt was new in 2013.
Not really, no. Flirt for Free came to this industry back in 1996. So they were in the game for over 2 decades, basically, right? So they had it nailed to a T. The chat was really simple. And up to this date, I want to say they still have the best operating system, that is. And I've tried multiple websites, right? The quality of the picture and how the chat works and how they, let's say if there's a VIP client, you can see him how many minutes or whatever he's got, like they've nailed it perfectly, you know, comparing to any other web platform. It's so user friendly, I can't even tell you. Simple and friendly, like this, both for model and for customer. Even back in 2013, I never really experienced any trouble, honestly. I don't know, it was just, you just log in, just, press the button and you're online. That's it. They would never bug you with like what is like your quality of the lighting. They will tell you that you obviously have to be visible on camera, right? So you have to make sure that you have lighting, and if you have questions, like we're here to help you. That's not a thing that they would obviously always offer, is to help models, especially the newbies, because when you start you don't even know what you're doing, right? You don't even know what the lighting is. you have to you have to read about it, you have to search, and I don't know, talk to friends who are doing this, like photographers, whatnot, because on your own you know nothing, basically, right? The camera quality, oh, what is the best camera? So they have everything on their website, even back then listed like what the best camera to start with, once you start making money you can upgrade to this and that. So it was basically super easy. Now that you made me think how it was like back in, early 2000s. You know what I mean?
Because I
So,
bring this up because obviously a lot has changed
yeah,
in people in general. Obviously,
right.
COVID has had a shift on mentality, thought process, and a bunch of other things. And even just the internet has changed dramatically. And so, again, I am not the expert in this sector, nor am I going to profess that I am. I've never done this in any regard. Obviously, I got into streaming, which I think is the closest thing I've done to all these websites is streaming a show on the internet. But obviously when we talk about lighting and camera and all that stuff, I'm incredibly lazy on that stuff. Incredibly, because I think content is king beyond anything else. And if I'm to invest in the sector, I'm gonna try to find the best content. And I have runaway clips out of my interviews. And so I think my theory is more right than wrong, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm just curious because you're coming in and you come from a corporate world and now you're in a creative world and you're in a very, I guess, adult creative world is a good example, but you have a corporate background. And so what
Right.
was that like too? Because you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, in month one, I did X. What's the potential? And is this viable
Right.
as a business, because that's the other thing too that I think sometimes young people in general don't understand, let alone in this industry, is that you got to figure out your business quickly in this. And I run a side hustle eBay business, and my first year I wasn't ready for it. So, but what was that like? Because having that, I guess, world banking background and corporate banking element to it must have triggered something.
I mean, I feel like the shift was rather easy for me. I felt that I've always had that kind of creative something living in me, but I couldn't fully understand it or express, right? And I've always felt I would be a good performer if I would do anything, right? Um, Either like if we're talking about, I don't know, theater or movies or whatever, right? Never thought about, like I said, adult world, but once I started, and I felt so mesmerized by this completely different world that exists. You are performing and all these people adore you and they make compliments and they feel so good in your company. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for that. Thank you very much. And they're paying my mortgage back then, and other bills. I'm like, oh wow, that's awesome. I don't even have to step out of the house and make my salary, and it was like way bigger salary than I could dream of back then. But I want to say one important thing, though, especially with influencer world is growing right now so fast, and everyone want to sit at home and make money. I want to say this: you have to go to the college or university. It's a must. There's no other way around. If you think you're going to just graduate high school and jump on the influencer wagon and start making hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's not as easy. College and university is crucial to build your mind, Uh, you would get so many other skills. You have no idea. You would learn how to communicate with people.
Let's actually talk about that. So I went to college and I had a day job, and I still have a day job. But I have a side hustle that's grown exponentially. And
Right.
but I didn't learn how to do my side hustle from college. I just learned it because I'm into comic books and I buy and sell comic books. And then one thing led to another, and I wanted beer money in college, and that's how this started. So it turns out that you buy a book for 20 bucks, you sell it for 120 bucks, you have beer money for at least a month or two.
Right.
And then I didn't figure out my business until like 3 or 4 years later. But what I did learn in college is how to interact, how to live independently, how to be responsible. So I don't know. I'm in a different sector completely than what I went for college. But so I agree going to college is important, because this influencer bandwagon, it cometh and it goeth, is a good way to put it. And if you don't have the skill sets or an understanding, and if
Yeah.
you made $2
Yeah.
million as an influencer, you better put 60% of that away.
100%. 100%. You have to. If you made that decision that you're going to stay home and you're going to make money on the internet, put it aside. Seriously, save up, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to be tomorrow, day after tomorrow. And the actually craziest thing is that I've spoken to a mom who is probably in her mid 40s. I want to say she was a nail tech and she was doing my nails. And we just started briefly talking about education and all of that during one of our sessions. And, she said her younger son just graduated high school, and he said he doesn't want to do college because he makes money off YouTube. And she's completely fine with that. She said good by me. Like he's making like really good money. He doesn't want to go anywhere. We don't have to pay for his education, and that scared me so much. I mean, are you kidding me here?
Let's actually relate this back into the adult industry, because this is my take, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. If you are a young man or a woman in the industry making real money, and you're not understing, you're even taking 20% of what you're making, and put it in the bank, put it in a CD, put it in a high yield savings account, invest in the stock market. I personally don't care. I'm not your financial advisor. I have my thoughts on what you should do. And my thoughts is just advice. You can do whatever you want. Put into some good basic blue chip dividend stocks and you'll be set for life, because if they pay you every quarter, you're getting your money and then you could live off the interest, not the principal. But that's what I would suggest. But again, I'm not your financial advisor or anybody. You could pay me if you like to be that. But I digress. But I feel like a lot of people in the industry don't understand that. And I feel like a lot of people, I mean, I'm in America, you're in Canada, so we're technically neighbor countries. I don't think many people in the world understand how to save and invest and protect their growth. And I think it's a real issue, especially when you're in a profession that is uncertain. I have a day job where I get paid every 2 weeks. As long as I don't get fired, I'm getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. But if you are making money off of YouTube or in the adult industry, you don't know what could happen. I mean, you could have a slow week on streaming.
And that's a really good question. It's a really good question because I don't want to say it's a flaky world, but it's true. We highly depend on what's happening in economy in general, or whether it's a football season and everyone is doing, all those baits and whatever, and they're not spending as much time and money on campsites. It happens. There are slow months, slow weeks, slow days.
It's all right. It's all right. I understand you're upset about the Chiefs and the 49ers. You're a Lions fan, aren't you? It's all right.
Honestly, I am not.
It's all right. We're all on the train, everybody. It's all right.
I support my customers, clients, and fans who are into football, hockey, or whatever the hell they like. I have nothing against that. Just please do come back, okay? In timely manner. But I don't want actually, I want to talk about something else. Because why is it important? Why is it important to save up when you have an online job, especially if you're in adult industry? Because a lot of people, especially when you're younger, once you get your first paycheck and it's like several $1,000s, your mind is like, oh, wow, cool. I'm on top of the world. I can do whatever. What we do, we go and spend right away. Bam, 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 bam. All that money that come in, we don't save. We just want to spend on clothes, shoes, bags, all of that, all of that is sitting in your closet. And when the times are slow and you're not making money, it's like, really? Is that what you wanted to spend your money on? I'm not saying don't leave, right? I'm not saying like save every single dollar, but I'm saying totally go and spend whatever you want, but keep in mind that you have to save up equal amount of money that you spend, because trust me, you don't know. Today you're a star and tomorrow could be nothing. That's what I've learned in this industry, because when I started making really good money on cam, I was like, oh my God, I can spend it all. I don't have to even think about it, And there have been times, when I would, of course, struggle and had nothing for, weeks. And that would make me devastated. I'm like, why would I even, spend all that money on designer shoes and bags when I could have just saved that and grow? By growing bigger and bigger and bigger, you grow your allowance too, right? As well as your saving account.
It's also the idea of diversification.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just had an exit on a stock, and it was a good exit. And what was the first thing I did is I bought myself a 6-pack for $20, because
Nice.
you have a $10,000 exit. I think you can spend $20 on a 6-pack. Say, I did good with this one. I did good with this one. The stock, for those who are interested, is Activision. They got bought by Microsoft. Way less, and then I pulled out. I cried a little bit because I like their stock a lot. But that's all right. All good things must come to an end.
See, it scares me a little bit. That part of the world kind of scares me. Investing in the stocks, because I don't fully understand it. I wanted to at some point in my life to learn how it works, but it kind of scares me because it's fluctuating all the time.
I'm a big equity guy. I'm a big equity guy. I'm a big
You
crypto.
have to. You have to be because let's say I'm not a gambler at all. I would not. I'd rather go buy myself something valuable than, go gamble. So I think you have to have that a little bit of a gamble mentality plus the knowledge to invest in the stocks, right?
Yeah, I'm very good at this. I'm very good
You have
at
to be
it. But
you have to be a risk taker. I am a risk taker when I know it's going to be comfortable.
oh, on this show, I'm a huge risk taker. I mean, interviewing everybody's a risk. I don't know half the time people are going to show up, and I don't know what's going to happen in my life. It's amazing. But I digress. But my point is that the first thing I did after I bought myself a six pack for a job well done, I set aside about 20% for taxes, and I think this is what people don't understand. And then I pretty
Yes.
much put a bunch of it into where I basically made it into categories. I'm funding my Roth IRA, all sorts of stuff. And so now what's happened is that I made all these decisions. It seems like, oh, dude, you had a great X with that. You could have a lot of fun. I'm like, no, I really can't. I
Yeah.
really can't. And then I wound up buying a bunch of other stocks that are now paying me capital, and they're paying me 26 cents a share per month. But when you buy 120 shares of that, it's like $40 every single
Right.
month. That then buys me more shares. And the point is that I am delaying pleasure so that later on when I'm 40, 50, 60, or when I'm in retirement, I might be pulling in 12 to 15 grand a month off
Right.
of not even off of the principal, but off of the dividend.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, when I have a family and I have kids, my kids are gonna have no college debt. And when I'm dead, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, we just inherited $6 million a piece." My two kids, when I
Right.
have,
Exactly.
and that's what I think people don't understand is the delay of pleasure. So I mean, honestly, I'm not in this sector, but if I was to advise young women and men in this
I
industry,
feel like, yeah, you know what? You're touching really important questions because people don't think about future at all. They all want to make, like, not all, okay, I'm not saying all, like, I don't want to offend everybody, but there are definitely smart ones among us who think about future, think about family and having kids. When you're like 20-year-old, you don't want to think about any of that, right? And especially if you're exposed to higher income, your mind goes in a completely different direction rather than saving up for taxes or saving up for, your future kids' college fund or whatever, right? And I want to say that you don't have to think about like future family, but definitely paying your taxes, especially we are in Canada. Our taxes growing tremendously, especially this year, they're going to grow. We're paying so much. You guys are so lucky. You don't pay as much as we do. It's freaking crazy. Okay, a good chunk of what I make goes back to Canada Revenue Agency, right? And I have to be ready for those payments. I have to make sure that I pay it and or put it aside to pay it. It's crazy. Plus, everything in Canada is growing. Your rent is growing, your bills are growing. It's a lot. So in this modern economy as it is right now, specifically in Canada, I don't know how you should be like rolling and bowling unless you're making a good six-figure paycheck every year, and not in your like 1 or 200,000. I'm talking. You have to be like way above that. You know it's a crazy world. So my message to all those younger people who's starting to camp and thinking that they're going to be staying there for years and years to come or entering adult world, guys, save up. 100% save up.
so let me even go further into this because I'm curious.
Because I didn't back in my days. I didn't do that.
Hey. I mean, I came into money. It took me a little while,
Yeah.
to figure it out when I came into a sizable chunk of money. And I made some good decisions and bad decisions, but I didn't make anything that was irreversible. But I should have been more responsible because I would be better off. But I'm glad I did what I did because I think it helped me in the long run. But
Right.
okay, should have been more responsible. But sometimes you got to blow through $5,000 to figure out where you should be. But that's neither here nor there. But I am curious about this though, because obviously in this industry, there's always some new kid coming up too. And so I'm in which there's always a bunch of new people coming in. There's always another pretty girl coming in. I feel, and I'm trying to say this in the least offensive way. I really am. And there's always, I feel, competition, even with, because I view, I guess, the adult industry like sports. There's always some kid coming out of college who is a new, not injured person. And there's always some 35-year-old quarterback who has the skills, been playing for 15 years, but he's a little bit more beat up. And there's always somebody trying to take your job, I feel, I would imagine. I mean, I'm in the entire, podcast industry, and there's always somebody trying to come up and take media time from me. And
okay.
So I don't know how you feel about that, or do you feel that, hey, you've been doing it forever and you're well established and you don't have competition the same way? Or I don't know exactly how to phrase that question.
I'll tell you, no, I understand. I understand exactly what you mean. I'll tell you this. One thing I lack is jealousy. 100%. I've never, ever, ever in my entire life was jealous of any other girl. I can actually compliment somebody who I find pretty or whatever. I've never felt that if there's a new cam model comes in and she drags all the attention, all of that I'm lacking somebody. Obviously, we girls look at each other all the time. We sneak into each other cam rooms and we look at each other and blah, blah. All that. Everyone does that, okay? But I've always said that there's plenty of fish. There's plenty of fish in the water for everyone. Not to mention, there is a customer for every girl. That's it. Point blank. And the moment you realize that, you're like, whatever. Okay, cool. No, new girl came in. Yeah, say hi. That's it. Period. I've never felt threatened by no one who comes in the industry. I'm like, if they want to be feeling threatened by me, let them. And I've actually came across an individual back in my early camming days who felt threatened by me. And they chose to attack right away. And I felt so puzzled. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening here? Oh, jealousy? Oh, I get it. Okay.
So let me ask this to you, because I am curious. Do you think that there is jealousy in the industry, or do you think that certain people have it, or do you think it's like
100%.
I gotta kill a
100%.
bitch? Is it that like this bitch is taking my customers and I gotta kill her and end her? Is it that?
Oh,
Like
100%. Are you kidding me? Yes. It's the most competitive world, especially women. Among women. Are you kidding me? Every woman wants to be the one, and I've had a friend in the past, and unfortunately we have to break up because I just could not deal with that anymore, who religiously believe that every single customer that is her regular customer, regular meaning that he repetitively comes to her room every single day or every single week and blah blah blah, is her and nobody's only. And we actually had a conversation about it. I said that that's not true. You can't think like that. If you're gonna think like that, you're gonna lose your business. No, I'm gonna survive just having those regulars. No, you won't. People come and go like this. You can't get attached to anybody. It's so simple, but you can't. That's the reality of this business. People come and go. Half of them, not half of them, probably the majority of them are married. They're going to stay with you for the rest of your life. You're going to be here. You know what I mean? So the jealousy, yes, 100% is there. Girls are threatened by each other. So they, back in the day, they would do like stupid things, They would just register as a customer, go to your room and say nasty things about you. And you like, okay, that's a model. That's actually not a client. When you have like a great day, especially when you have high rollers in your room, tipping, and you're having like super good day, somebody would roll into your room and say something nasty. You know what I mean? So that's, yeah, it's there. It's nasty. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Girls are super competitive. I just never been threatened by no one. I don't care. Somebody's jealous, let them be. I don't want that. I just want to work. That's it.
You're better than me on that, because when I get attacked and people don't like me and then they're saying nasty things to me, I try not to fight, but it's
I'm not
hard.
saint in that department, okay? I've been there and I would get fired up. I said, "Why are you even attacking me? What did I do to you?" And blah blah blah. I've been there, right? But then I learned, and it took me years, of course, to suppress that anger, and then eventually don't even react anymore. I don't even react at all. Like, whatever. You want to say something nasty? Block. Or sometimes I don't even care. They just leave on their own. But it took me years to learn that. So it takes time. You're probably still younger than me, so.
I'm not that much younger than you. I'm not that much younger, but I'm not gonna say what your age is.
No, I don't care. People know. People should know. I mean, it's on Twitter. My actual real birthday is on Twitter. So whoever still doesn't know what my age is, well, sorry, guys.
So many things I can say, but before we get to the OnlyFans stuff, 'cause I do want to talk about that. I do
Yeah.
have to ask you about being nominated for MILF of the Year, like for 3 years in a row. Because no offense, but you're not that old to be a MILF.
I'm
Like,
not a milf at all, right? And
like
that would actually.
you look milfy. I'll say that. I'll say that. But you're not old enough to be a MILF. I can tell you
Oh
that.
my God. What is it? Is it my haircut? Is it my makeup? What is it? So basically, yeah, I've heard that. But like when I'm all dressed up in my lingerie and sitting on cam, and people are like, "You look like somebody's rich wife." And I'm mentioning that because I get that a lot. Okay, a lot. I've never ever actually wanted to look like anybody's rich wife. My idea to present myself on cam was always the, you know, pretty, well put together, lingerie, makeup done, hair done, nail done, like nails done. So that's it. And somehow I entered this world of all those different men, giving me their different perspectives on how I look, how I should look, should not. So it was a lot. But MILF, okay. So I had no idea about those. I had no idea about those nominations because fans usually nominate you. And I guess, hello, yes, I am MILF. So I had to finally accept it because this is just, I can't fight it. I mean, I'm in my late 30s, right? I'm going to be 39 this June. And I have to accept it, I guess. That's it. There's no way. There's no way to fight it. I did it once on StreamAid, and we can actually change you can actually do it on any cam platform. You can put different date of birth, or don't show age at all. But guys would ask you age all the time. Every single customer would ask you, how old are you? So, and I did that just kind of like for my own interest, and I put 28 for that entire shift. I think I kept it for like a couple of days. 28. Not a single guy called me MILF. Not a single dude asked me if I'm into younger boys. Not a single guy would ask me if I would go on a date with a younger guy. None. Okay, so tell me if it's not the age thing, so what is it? So they see 38. Oh, can you be my stepmommy? Oh my God. Jesus. I'm like, you probably look older than me. I can be your younger sister on a good day. It's fun. So I just learned to have fun with it, although I was furious about it for the longest time because I'm like, you're calling me MILF? And I'm like, come on. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel good, when I perform. And that kind of makes me feel like, yeah, let me just like zip up my hoodie and get some popcorn and just lay on the couch. That's it.
I'm not gonna lie, Netflix and chill with you would be a lot of fun. I could tell you that.
I cry a lot.
if I was Netflixing and chilling with you and you were crying, that'd be fine. That'd be absolutely
Dude,
fine.
I cry a lot. If it's some sentimental movie or, oh my God, some breakup story or somebody dies, that's it. I just break in tears. I'm like,
I take it. If we were in a relationship, we would be a rom-com dating couple, without a doubt.
I mean, I'm not an expert in that. Can't be. Nope.
Hey, Matthew McConaughey without a shirt. I'm just saying.
Dude, okay. Okay. You got me on that one. He is the hottie. Okay. He is just the way to talk. This man talks. It's already like, okay, yeah. I'm ready. Here's my hoodie. That's it. Do whatever you want.
My favorite movie is Dazed and Confused, and that was his first role.
Oh
And
yeah, I don't think I've seen that movie.
oh, it's so good. It's so good. Everybody's in it. You got Ben Affleck was in it, Matthew McConaughey was in it, Jason London was in it, Adam Goldberg was in it. Anthony Rapp was in there. All
That was
these
his
people.
first movie.
Matthew McConaughey, yeah.
Oh, I should look at it.
It's a great movie. It's a classic. It's like a cult classic. It's a great movie, and
I absolutely adore his performance in The Wolves of Wall Street.
he was great. He was great in that too.
He was amazing. I'm a huge fan of Tarantino movies. So he's, sorry. Oh, I misspoke. He's and Guy Ritchie. I love both of them. So the last one from Guy Ritchie, not the last one, but the previous from Guy Ritchie, The Gentleman. Oh, the way he played there was just absolutely amazing. I'm a fan.
But since we're talking about all this guy stuff, and we're gonna dive into the OnlyFans, but I have to ask you because obviously I have a different perspective on this. And obviously a bunch of men calling you MILF and they want you to be their stepmommy. What do you think about masculinity? Because I'm curious about what you think. Because obviously I have my own views, and I don't want to displace your views on that. But I'm curious because you probably see it differently than I do. Maybe.
Well, see, without me actually wanting or knowing, people put me into dominatrix category a lot. And like I said, I've never actually thought like I'm feisty, I guess. I'm not afraid to speak my mind and speak my truth. And maybe that's why people find me a little bit strong, kind of having the strong personality. So they put me in this dominatrix situation where I meet a lot of people that like to play less masculine. They want to pretend that they are cuckolds. Cuckolding is trending crazy right now. And stepsons. Those are, oh my goodness. And also pegging shows, right? So men want to be dominated by women a lot. And I've concluded that I get less and less strong men that attracted just to women just want to play together. But I do get those fetishes. That's it, period.
Because my view is that we have, I feel, in America, a generation of men who don't want to take responsibility. And I think we have a generation in society that doesn't want to take responsibility, doesn't want to go out there and accomplish something. And there's nothing wrong with a guy wanting to live out a fetish and be submissive. But I also don't, I mean, the way I feel is that I don't know if that's a fantasy anymore, where I think there's a lot of people who don't want to go out and go kill something. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I want to go kill a deer or I want to go kill a
Right. Right.
I run a business that does a decent amount of money. And I mean, I'm selling, around $50,000 to $60,000 minimum of comics every year. I'm not making that money. Obviously, I have cost of goods, but I've accomplished something. And I feel there's a generation of men who don't want to go do that. They just want to be at their job. They don't want to take a manager position. And then when they go online, I don't think the symptom of the online is just them living out their fantasy, being, I want this woman to dom me because I'm in a powered position. I think there's a bunch of men who are like, I'm making real decisions of millions of dollars and I need to balance it out by a girl whipping me. I
Yeah.
think it exists. And I think that's actually a yin and yang balance. I don't know if that's the balance that's going on right now with men.
I think you have a pretty strong feeling about what is really going on and what I've
I mean, I could be wrong. But
I mean,
that's what I say.
I try to talk to as many of them as I can just to get their backgrounds a little bit, because I do like to build an image of any customer that I play with. What are they like in real life? You know, because if he comes from a financial position, if he's like a banker or a lawyer, and he comes saying like, I want to be dominated, just whip me, yes, and can you cuckold me, right? I just want to see you as another man, and it just kind of, I like that a lot. It's a different perspective for me, totally. But if he comes here and says, I'm 26-year-old virgin and I don't deserve any woman ever, and he looks like it, he looks like a guy that he didn't achieve anything in his life and he's not even looking forward to, he's going to be just like working in McDonald's or whatever for the rest of his life, because he doesn't feel like, what's the point, right? I do have a strong feeling that strong man as a profile is slowly dying, and that scares me a little, because I'm attracted to strong man. He doesn't have to be, I mean, 6 foot tall,
That's
or
be Conor McGregor is what you're saying.
right. He doesn't have to be like a strong, huge, like muscle, all of that. No, but his strong mentality. The one who will stand up for his woman if needed, and not the other way around. And I feel like the women, especially in our society where I live, they've been dominating men a lot. And I feel like this is the part of the problem, not because men are dying, like strong men are dying, uh, just because, but women become a little bit too aggressive too, especially with the growing feminism. And it's not a feminism how actually they present it, it's a sexism. Women want to dominate the world, and they make men like they're nothing. But how are we going to procreate? How are we going to grow as a society if not two genders, coexist and make it happen?
It's interesting. So I dated a girl, and she knew if there was a problem, and there was a problem, that she would have to speak and not me, because I would kill the opposition, and it wouldn't be a fair fight. So she's just like, I'm gonna handle this, because if you handle it, it's not that you're not masculine enough, it's that you're gonna murder them, in which that you're gonna go 90% across the line versus going the 50%. So she's like, I respect you enough that let me handle this because I have a softer touch. And I'm like, you got a point. But if it went south, I would have stepped in. And I think that that's also very different as well, because my girlfriend at the time understood that my approach was probably too violent and too
Mhm.
aggressive, that it would
Yeah.
have been more destructive. And that also, I think, is a misunderstanding too, is that I don't know if men and women understand their relationships, where if my girlfriend got insulted or I was in a bar there and some guy tapped her on the ass, I might need a guy in the sternum, and I might wind up spending
Oh,
17 hours.
absolutely. You have
It,
to stand
it,
up. Yeah, you have to stand up for yourself and say, hey, do you think it's appropriate? Well, first of all, of course, use the words. And if he doesn't apologize and
I
being
don't know.
aggressive,
I don't know if words would happen in that circumstance.
right, right. See, like
I don't know.
I'm not expert on that, to be honest. I don't know how would, let's say, whoever I'm dating at the moment would behave in that, because I'd rather not to step into that situation. But because I'm like, I like to avoid violence at any cost. I like to avoid it. But I agree with you that a man should be able to stand up for his woman and don't look like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to get beaten. Let's go.
I had a friend, and some guy tapped his girl on the ass, and she immediately swung back and punched the guy in the head, and then they just left the bar. And he didn't even have time to respond. She just took care of it. And like my friend tells me this story, I just started laughing. He just started laughing because we're like, dude, you didn't even have time to respond.
Right. Probably would be my response too.
I
Not
said
when thinking about it. Yeah.
what I said to him is I said, you have to propose to her tomorrow. You have to. Like,
Yeah,
you can't find anybody better. But I digress. But I'm
but
sure
it's important. I feel like it's still important for women understand where they overstepping the line in day-to-day relationship, because I feel like young man growing up in a house where mom is taking care of everything, and um, she is yelling at dad all the time, or like when you grow up in a household like that, you kind of have a different perception on what a man should be, right? So it's important for a man to be that role model for their younger sons, so they grow stronger. So men and women, we both have to work on something here, especially in the modern world.
fair enough. Now that we're both canceled,
I'm not cancel. I'm not feminist. I'm not feminist, and I don't support feminists in the shape and form they are right now. No, I'm against that, whatever it is, that movement.
so many things I can say.
And if you have like a female audience here, they're probably gonna hate me, but I've spoken very freely and openly on cam about it, because I'm against SJW in any shape and form. I'm against feminists. I'm against anybody who diminishes man role in the society. Period. Although I'm making money, unfortunately, of those small men. No disrespect to you guys, I love you. But they know who they are. That's it. Period.
I'll say this. If somebody wants to be diminished and they're paying you and that's their thing, I mean, I'm very libertarian, and I'm very saying, look, if somebody's providing a service I want, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent,
Yeah.
So be it, right? There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong in a free economy to provide X.
Oh, absolutely. I simply offer services. They simply pay for it. That's it.
So that's how I view it. And we could have a philosophical debate on right, wrong. Like, I'm not going to go sell a beer to a 16-year-old, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
There's lines that everybody can make on their own.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I do have my boundaries, 100%.
But I digress on that. But I do want to talk about your OnlyFans. So obviously you do a lot of OnlyFans stuff. And what is that like?
Oh, OnlyFans. I mean, I knew what I signed up for, right? It's a little bit challenging. You talk to guys not on cam, right? It's just a chat, and sometimes they come across a little bit different, right? You can see them. Yeah.
Sorry for my responses.
Oh no, why would you? No, you were very
No,
no,
that's
you
a
were
sorry.
very polite. No, you were very polite. There's nothing to apologize for. Very polite. Yes, some guys who act a little bit aggressively, you have to put them back in their line and say, "Hey, honey, this is not how we're gonna roll." Yeah, it's a lot. It's basically like running a daycare. Not gonna lie. Because and I don't want to be like setting up rules all the time because it's not fun, right? We're
Let,
all
let,
there
let
to
me
have
let me
fun.
ask you. Let me ask you the question about the chargeback issue because I know you were upset
Oh
about.
God, yes. I
And
was
it's not. I mean, I'll say it on my end, and I deal with this on eBay, where I deal with people buying something and then canceling it like 3 minutes later after you get bought something, you want something on a bid, and it kills me. And I'm not saying it's the same, but I know how annoying it is. And
so basically what OnlyFans did was that chargeback, the whole like I dig deeper a little bit and I've gathered some information. What is it the whole chargeback is about? Because I'm not doing um anything bad here. I'm simply supplying my content and some people would just cancel and I get punished for that. But here's the situation. There are some performers who gather money but don't supply the goods, right? People pay for videos or for custom videos or for Skype calls or whatever, and girls never reply. So what do those customers have to, you know, um, how do they protect themselves? So they write to OnlyFans and they say, "Hey, this girl never sold me the video I bought," right? So they charge back, and the more those cases grow, the faster her accounts will get shut down. In my case, why chargebacks were so like they were starting to scare me a little because they started to grow. In my cases, those were stolen cards. And unfortunately, maybe in the future, and I hope it will happen in the future, OnlyFans somehow can, work better with those chargebacks when it's based on fraudulent activity of the account holder or the actual stolen card. You know what I mean? Right now, we're all put in the same basket, and it doesn't matter. But I did write them an email, and I said every single chargeback that you have on my account is done not because I didn't supply the goods, but the card was stolen. So how is that? My percentage is growing and eventually it will probably somehow affect me. But they did respond back and they said that I should not worry about it and that we know exactly what's going on in your account and we're not going to shut you down. So thank you. Because I would fight. I'm a fighter. So, yeah, I understand. It's not a crazy amount. Like they told me that you're still very, very far from anything that would be very concerning percentage wise. So you're good. You're in a good position, but still, to me, as someone who offers a fair business, having something negative happening is painful, right? So I need to understand, I need to dig deep, and I need to fight it. You know what I mean?
let me ask this because I'm curious because obviously I have put in protocols into my business, where I used to do a lot of pre-sales and then something takes 3 months to get here and then people go ape shit on me. And then when you're dealing with 120, $300 items and it's a tough pill to swallow. So now on pre-sales, I put them out 60 days. On top of that, then I have a month to get the item to you. And then after that, I actually monitor the money to a high yield savings account. So at least I'm getting some interest. So the money's put aside and it messes up and it means that my business accrues debt. And so I don't know what safety protocols you put in, but I don't think a lot of people
Oh yeah.
understand when you run a business, you have to put safety protocols in. And I hate to say this, but if I'm to order something from you and I need something like a custom or something else, I don't know what you exactly offer, you now have to be less lenient, even though I'm a great customer. And it sucks for me because if I need something from you on a personal level, you might have to say, this doesn't fit my order anymore and I
Yeah.
can't deliver. And meanwhile, I've been doing business with you for God knows what if I just been doing business with you for 3 years and I paid you $4,000 and now you have to change your protocols because some asshole screws me and you.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, right now I don't have on my account anything that would affect people greatly. I mean, I've run bundles for my videos, but unfortunately, I've learned those actually very attractive to those who stolen cards. So I had to cancel it, unfortunately, and I will restructure that and maybe find the other way to build my bundles, right? Maybe not for as much money that it was offered and not as many videos that it was included in the bundle, right? But unfortunately, those are number one attraction to those guys who, steal cards, sign up, or I don't know if they download, or if they pirate my videos, or whatever they do, right? But unfortunately, it happens pretty much to everyone, right? So, but like I said, I'm still learning about all the tools that I can use to improve to improve my work with my clients on OnlyFans in particular, right? I'm still learning. I'm still gathering information about what would be the best, right? It's a tough business to be in, right? Especially when a person signs up and he has, okay, $4.99 a month. So I have to pay my subscription every month. Then I have to pay for every single video. Um, do I want it? Do I not? How much do I like the girl? There's a lot goes into that. I thought it would be way simpler than that, but here you actually have to learn how the market works. Right? You have to sit down and write down those strategies. And I'm a very organized person. So I had to sit down. I had to understand what I can do better to improve that. And like I said, my OnlyFans, I want it to be a fun place. I don't want to be setting up being like this, you know, angry woman who's setting out the rules all the time. Like, oh, you're doing this to me. I'm doing this to you. I want it to be fun. I want people to come to my account and just have fun. That's it. So obviously maybe me like reacting the way I've reacted on those chargebacks, maybe it was a little bit harsh. I don't know, but at that time I felt so let down. But still, it's just the minority. It's just a little group. Still, the majority of guys who signed up are nice and sweet, and they don't, they don't try to be sneaky with me or say, "Oh, Cherry, why don't you sell me a video for $10 and not 15?" you know.
Do that for me. I'm so sorry. Too easy. It's too
No,
easy.
no, no. Well, the thing is that I want to be fair, like I said in the beginning, right? It's a fair market. So if 10 guys bought it for 15, I do no exclusion.
So, so,
There's
so the
no
way
way.
the way I work on my eBay business is that if I have an item for $150 and then somebody bought it for 140, the 140 is the minimum price.
But
So,
eBay is a little bit different. See, only
where I go with this, and it goes to your exclusion point, is that if you had a video for 25,000 and you drop it down to 20, you can't then drop it down to 15 so
let me
quickly.
ask you this question. Do you
Yeah,
pay any percentage of your profit to eBay?
13%.
Okay, we pay 20.
So, but the point I'm trying to get at is that if somebody buys it, so I have a best offer, right? I can't then somebody offers me $100, but somebody just paid 140. It's unethical for me to sell it to them for 100 when the person before
True,
them.
true,
That's
but it's
where I'm
different.
going with
It's a little bit different platform, right? It's a bidding situation. Here, you just have the goods for set amount of money,
that. No, no,
and there's no
I
negotiation.
agree. The point I'm making is that it's unethical when somebody offers you saying, "Hey, could you do it for $10 when everybody
Yes,
else bought it for 15?"
absolutely. I would
That's
feel
where
bad for other guys who
so
bought
so but it's also but if somebody's buying 100 videos and you're giving the 100 videos a $50 discount, that's a bit different as well because somebody's buying in bulk. And so I discount in bulk. So somebody's buying 100 books from me, I might offer free shipping because they're buying in bulk. So I might take off $2, $3 per book because they're
it.
buying
Right.
so much. But that's also a different circumstance too because now somebody's spent 500 with you and they want a free video on that 500. That's a different situation completely.
Right.
But I digress. But that's what I think people don't understand. And also what I've learned is that people only have so much money and they're trying to get as much as they can.
Oh, absolutely. Especially men. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but hear me out. Men, when they're spending money on the adult content, the majority of them literally count every single cent. Every single cent. And the prices I currently have on my OnlyFans are really low. And they're definitely not what it should be.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that sometimes people also don't know that you're paying 20%? Because on eBay, a bunch of people, I don't think, realize that I pay 13% plus cost of good, plus shipping. And all of a sudden, if I'm selling an item for $60, I'm making maybe 15 on it after everything is paid for. And I'm like, I can't sell it to you for anything less than this because there's no money in it.
Yeah, there's no profit, of course.
Like, and I try to explain to you, I'm like, yo, look, I would love to sell it to you for this price point, but I can't because I need to make money.
Yeah.
And this is my break-even point plus 13%. If you offer me 70, I'm making $5 on you. I understand you want to buy it to me for 50, but I can't. I'm going to lose money. And I don't know if that's also the issue, is that people don't analyze. I have an idea.
No one does. No one actually thinks about it. That's why in my few live streams that I did, I actually brought it to their attention that it's not as easy as you guys think to get all this work done, and you just want it for nothing. That's it. I kind of felt like I need to educate the crowd a little bit, but also, I mean, yeah, some of them be like, oh, wow, we didn't know. Oh, I'm so sorry it happened, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of feel bad even like to exposing some of the secrets of how the system works. Like, they don't need to know. They come here for fun, But somebody was like nagging on my tag, like, oh, when is the next video, Cherry? When is the next, boy and girl video, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, let me tell you, I have certain issues I come across. Like, I can't be supplying all the time. But that's what fans want. If they see you as adult performer who started collabing with other actors, they want that all the time. So they're interested. And the majority of them who are asking for new videos never even actually buy them. They just want to see a trailer that is free. And that's very sad. That's very sad. This, I mean, there's a lot of tricks on how OnlyFans works, and a lot of new girls that subscribe to it find it very challenging, and they working like maybe a month or two, give up on it eventually. Because it's like, guys, like, we go back on cam, like, it's more fair business. You don't like my pricing, go buy. I don't care. There will be another one because we're exposed to traffic. On OnlyFans, it's a different story. It's like you're having like a physical store. That's it, and you rely on every single customer that comes in, and you need to make sure you sell them something.
It's similar to eBay, where I generate my own traffic, and I don't create my own product. I buy product, and I buy products specifically that sell themselves.
Exactly.
And I figured out what products sell themselves, and I figure out what my base cost is. And I do no advertising. And when you're doing $70,000 in sales with no advertising, people are like,
yeah,
you advertise in your business. I'm like, no, you don't.
Camming is definitely way easier than that. Trust me, way easier. You just log in online. You look pretty. You look fresh. You have good mood, and that's it. Let's have the ball rolling. Because
let's try with me.
Because you have this major company that is a gaming platform that invests thousands, tens of thousands of dollars every single day to generate traffic into your room, right? Because if you are doing this on your own, you have to be extremely wealthy if you want to generate traffic into your room just buying the traffic. And this is where a lot of people, cam models too, don't understand why we have to pay the majority of money that we actually make on cam to the streaming platform. We don't get 50-50 relationship, and customers be like, what? How come? But you're bringing them the money. I'm like, no, they're actually bringing me the money. Because if they were not paying for that traffic, nothing would happen.
Yep. I agree. I interviewed a bunch of people. I don't know if you know who Sasha Nakamoto is.
Not sure.
Sasha Nakamoto is the VR cam girl on streaming.
Oh, yeah. I think I might have heard it from a friend.
I
Yeah.
love her. I love her. It's like my most successful interview in a while, and fun interview, crazy interview, super trippy. Nobody was ready for that one. That I did, and I treated it appropriately too, which is amazing. But the point is that people don't understand is that I mean, Stream 8 brings traffic to that, and that on its own could work because it's enough of an attraction. But again, I get it. But and then you can briefly mention browsers because I love them. They're great. They're
Oh,
great.
who doesn't? They're amazing. Oh my, they're so creative.
What like I mean, Alana's there, Cubby Thompson's there, Ryan Reed is there.
Yeah.
Is Kieran guy who has his dick insured for like $1 million there? I love him. I love him. I love that guy. I watched.
He's definitely a character. He is a character, and
I would kill to interview him. I would kill to interview him because
oh yeah, absolutely. I think you would. I think you should. He has a lot to say. He definitely has a huge experience. He shot over 4,000 movies. And he's definitely one of the hard working guys out there. And I'm glad that we had to sit down and we talked before we shot our scene. And I had to learn a little bit about him. So I like that part whenever you meet with whoever you collabing with. We have a little bit of time to sit down and have a little bit of a conversation just to get to know each other, get the vibe. Oh, who is she? Who is he? Are we gonna connect? Because we're here to perform a sex act, excuse me, and we have to show the world, whoever's watching, that we actually are enjoying each other, So that's fun. Absolutely. He's a fun guy, 100% fun dude. I didn't expect when I met him that he would be he's very smart, actually. He's really smart. So he knows the industry inside out. He's very, very much fun guy. But I can imagine shooting so many scenes. To me, this is mind blowing. Who knows? Maybe in a few years, I'll be like already talking to you like, oh, I already shot 2,000 scenes. Who knows? But I'm kidding. It takes way more than that. It takes years and years and years, actually, to shoot that many. So yeah. Quentin James is also another funny character. We did podcast. I don't know if he released it yet or not. He started his podcast channel, and we had this funny conversation before we actually get to shoot our scene as well. He's also very, I don't know what is it about British guys, but they're like so charming. Maybe it's the accent. Like right from the start said, you know what, I already like you. Your accent's amazing.
I have no comment. I
love both of them. They're just amazing. I love it. Had a great time. That's the best.
I respect Kieran a lot because he just seems amazing. And I forgot, I think it was like Akira Asuka. They did that whole like reality show with Ali Knox and a few other people on there. And oh my God, like I think it was like Porn Reality House or something. Oh, I love that show. That thing was amazing on so many levels. So many levels. But Ali Knox is killing it right now. She's great. She's another one. But I digress. I do want to give you a chance to promote yourself because obviously you got a lot going on. You got OnlyFans, you got Twitter, you got Streamate, Flirt for Free, all these sites that are all the same thing. I think they're all the same thing, or they all borrow from each other. I don't know.
Um, Streammate and
Streamate, Jerkmate,
oh,
maybe
you mean like mirror sites? Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
they don't like borrow, but they're like mirror sites. Probably just some people know them as Jerkmate, others as Streammate. Some people know them as Pornhub Live, because basically this is how I like whenever I introduce myself. Whoever doesn't know anything about camming at all, and they've only been in adult industry filming, I say, well, Pornhub Live, right? There's Pornhub Live cam. So if you just click on there, here I am. That's it. As easy as that. So that's like the easiest way to promote. So Streamate supply traffic to their live cams, something like that. I'm not really big on details and how it works. So yeah.
But there's that. You're on Brazzers, which is awesome.
Starting, yes, I'm starting there. I've met a couple of producers. Everyone who I've met so far actually super friendly, super nice people, and that's what kind of excites me to work with them in the future. Because I've always been afraid to make any adult filming studio because I was like, oh, maybe they're like scary people or they have some hidden agenda, well, blah, 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 and this and that, The only agenda they have is to shoot quality film and, make sure that it sells good and you bring them money back. Obviously, it's simple world, but I love, love, love how freaking funny their movies are. I'm a huge fan myself. So yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna plead the fifth, and that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, dude. It's fine. I mean, it's hard to find a guy who's not subscribed. Come on.
I am just gonna plead the fifth, and we are just all gonna
It's fine. I
smile.
mean, it's nothing. I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. And I understand. I understand the adult industry is still a little bit taboo, maybe, right? Well,
Well,
not
I
maybe.
don't
It's
really
still a
care.
taboo for a lot of people, right? Um, but so I'm still waiting for a moment when somebody recognized me in my own gym. Now that was probably very awkward.
They'd be like, "Hey, look, I'm a really big fan.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah,
to
yeah,
meet
yeah, something
you."
like that.
Just
So every time somebody interrupts me in my workout, I'm like, oh no, oh no, no, no. Here comes the moment. He's gonna say something. He's gonna say something. And then this guy comes into me like months ago or something. Is your dad name blah blah blah? I'm like, no, sweetie. That was a funny way to start a conversation with a girl, not gonna lie. I'm like, no, sorry.
the last time I picked up a girl, I started off with a name now that is in a bit trouble in WWE. But I said, me and my friend were grabbing a beer, and I said, "Oh yeah, my friend Eric is fighting Brock Lesnar tomorrow night," and that's how I got her number.
Nice.
It was great. It was great. The whole thing was ridiculous. I didn't care, and that's why it worked. But I would never ever start off with, "Hey, is your dad so and so?"
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah. He was like, that was totally out of the blue. I'm like, I've never heard anybody saying that. Maybe I looked like someone he might know through his
hey,
family or whatever. I don't know.
all I know is that if it worked and it got your number, then kudos to him. I mean, he deserves the win. But
Yeah,
it
well,
didn't
I was
work.
thinking at the moment, so I had to say, sorry, have a nice workout.
But enough about that. I don't want to keep you all day. I already kept you long enough. But
Yeah, thank you. No,
where
it's been a lot of fun.
where can people find you on social media, all your sites, check you out when you're camming, all that fun stuff?
Oh, well, I mean, I have my Twitter, Cherry Devivre, exactly as my stage name spelled, as easy as that. My Instagram is the Cherry Devivre. I'm trying to keep everything under the same name, and my OnlyFans is Cherry Devivre, same, easy peasy. So basically, all the links are on my Twitter. And if you are not following my Twitter, I post daily stories on my Instagram where I put a link to my stories. And if you click that link, it will lead you to the website. So my web card, right? That says where I am, where you can find me, all the links, all the platforms, stream it, flirt for free. I will be probably doing Pornhub a little bit more. I'm starting it now. I've had account for a while, but I need to start uploading there more, get that audience as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how you can find me.
And then I've been saying it, I'm going to keep saying it. You have to support what you like, and you have to economically support what you like. So obviously, if you like Cherry and what Cherry does, obviously you should go out and support her on a variety of platforms. And then more importantly, following people on social media is very helpful as well. So that's important as well. And then as far as I'm concerned, obviously my social media is down below. I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics on TikTok. YouTube is Pop Anime Comics. And you don't know who's coming on my show ever. I got another interview tonight at 7 o'clock, everybody. And then Tuesday, I am having Savannah Fox on. So that's going to be very fun.
Busy dude.
What?
You're a busy guy. I love that. Keep it busy.
Big booty Savannah Fox. She's great. She's great. And she didn't tell me what she's wearing yet for my interview. So go figure that one out. So I don't know if it's going to be appropriate or not. But I digress.
I was trying to be appropriate,
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, she's very attractive, and if she shows up in a bra or a bikini or something,
right?
sexy, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a good interview, and then I'm working on getting Kelly Pierce. And so obviously a lot of people coming on, and then you know what voice actors are coming on, you know what comic people are coming on, and I'm very busy, and I have a wrestler coming on later this week too, oddly enough. So.
Right.
That's everything I got going on. And then my eBay store is Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. Got a lot of cool books up there. Got some Z-rated stuff, some nude stuff in there, and some rare books. And I am a little bit of a Swiftie, so I have some really cool Taylor Swift books as well, everybody. So, it's all right. It's all right. I am man enough to admit it. And I am comfortable with my masculinity to admit that I'm a Swiftie. And I'm okay with this. You might not think and talk about masculinity. It's all right if you want to make fun of me. Moving on, and then you think my bad card just went down a little bit. I'm okay with that in your eyes.
No, I don't think you're less masculine. I think you're very masculine, man. Come on, stop that.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm comfortable with myself. That's all that matters in me. And she also funded half my Roth IRA. So we all know who won the war here. But anyway. Yeah, I digress, and I will give you the final word.
Well, thank you, Andrew, once again for inviting me to your podcast. Sorry, that word is not very good. Well, I'm not a native English speaker, right? So that was my second language. So anyway, thank you so much for inviting me. It was a lovely conversation. Sorry for the noise. It's the snow flowers came in to clean my place. It's kind of like a little noise. Like I feel like we're ending in the right time before it gets like too crazy. Thank you so much. I hope we've covered all these subjects you wanted to cover. If you ever feel like you want to see me on your show, once again, I'm more than happy to attend. Maybe in something more revealing. Who knows? But thank you once again, and guys, have a lovely time. There you go.
I don't think I could have ended that any better myself, everybody. And that is a wrap.